Hey guys, Brian and Halo here at Triple B. Tim O'Reilly. You may know him as Jay's right-hand man. At Prehistoric Pets, he breeds some of the most stunning reticulated pythons the world has ever seen. We'll hear about his experience with breeding reptiles, including how he got started at Prehistoric Pets, his hopes for the future of retics, and what makes him tick. I had only met him one time before our interview. I'd be lying if I said he didn't remind me of Sam Elliott. But he's definitely a solid character in my eyes, but enough about me, let's hear about Tim. You're watching Triple B TV. How many clutches have you pulled, Tim?
I've never done this before. It's my first time. I've had reptiles all my life. I mean, where I grew up, there was a couple of drainage canals that had frogs and lizards and snakes, and every day after school, I'd go down and catch lizards and snakes until my mom came looking for me. Like 1977, I bought a female Jackson's chameleon at a swap meet. I think I paid $17 for it. Took it home, put it in a little bird cage. I didn't know what to do with it, Jackson's. The next day, there were little babies everywhere. Everybody I talked to, nobody knew anything about chameleons at that point in time. I did go to the alligator farm and ask them, and they were like, forget it, they're all gonna die. You can't keep those alive in captivity, just give it up. I took little ice chests, little styrofoam ice chests, and cut windows in it and put screen on it, top, sides, everything, and then put a jar with bananas in it for fruit flies. Between that, crickets and mealworms, grew them to adults, bred them together. I bred 3 generations of Jacksons, I think, when nobody even knew how to keep them alive. I bred all kinds of, veiled chameleons. I had a huge colony of veiled chameleons. This was all before I worked there. I produced thousands of veiled chameleons. 14. That was the Jacksons. 14 years old. I got it when I was 12, a couple of years later. Yeah, probably 14, 13 or 14. A friend of mine, I think this was back in the early 90s when albino berms were big. We did invest we combined our savings, invested like $50,000 into double head albino greens and all kinds of crazy stuff, and lost our investment. I've known Jay since he opened Pet Country in the other shopping center back in the mid-late 80s, and we both are fishermen. I've been a fisherman all my life. A really good friend of mine who I've known for 40 years was his first manager, so he introduced me to Jay. We've been on tons of fishing trips before I ever came and worked here, but about 15 years ago, I worked for Penn Reels from 1985 to 2000, and then the economy kind of caused them to shut their West Coast facility down, so I was out of a job. And so I asked Jay, hey, can I have a job? He said, sure, come on down. The first day in the store, he had a wall with, I think there was 12 8-foot cages. Every one of them had a 16-foot plus retic in it. And he tells me, yeah, those cages need to be cleaned. Go clean them. I've never touched a big snake, I mean, maybe a 10 or 12-foot berm, but I'd never touched a big retic. And it's like, okay, so off I went. So that was, don't start with the small snakes first. I mean, it was literally the biggest ones he had the first day I came here, so. And that kind of fell in love with him that day, I think. Well, that's something that Jay and I discuss. He usually makes that decision. Sometimes I do, but when I have a female I can tell is cycling, usually I'll go to him and say, what do we want to breed to this? And we'll brainstorm it and figure it out, and hopefully it works out. We only have so many males. We've got a lot of females and a small percentage of males that are breeding all these. So you may have a first choice, but at the same time you still want to get a clutch. So you've got a primary male, a secondary male, and down the line. all the time. And those are usually the ones that I don't tell them about. They'll say, "What'd you breed to that?" "Oh, I bred this." "Ah, that's not what I wanted." I said, "I'm sorry." It is not a boring job. He's passionate. Boisterous, yeah, but he's very passionate. It works out perfect for Jay and I. He loves to be in the spotlight, and I hate it. So we're a perfect couple. You know what I mean? A lot of people say Jay takes the credit for it. No, he doesn't. He doesn't take the credit. He just likes to be in front of the camera. I don't. So, you know, who cares who gets the credit, as long as we're living the dream. Like I said, it's not boring. Put it that way. And we do disagree a lot. In the end, we always come to the right decision, so that's all that matters. Research it thoroughly. Talk to people, ask questions. You know, they're not for everybody. I love them. You know, people say they're dangerous, and I guess that comes down to what your description of dangerous is. I don't feel that I've ever been in danger in my life dealing with them. So, but yeah, just research it. Understand what you're getting yourself into. And if you can't see the end of it, where you have a big cage, and you don't think you can do that, then don't buy one. Simple as that. It does take a lot of dedication and work, even one snake. It seems like people think we overproduce, and I mean, they actually came right out and asked Jay the other day how many you produce, and I told them, tell them. You know, I've heard people say they think we produce 5,000 retics a year, which, you know, we had a good year last year. I think we hatched 1,800. It's a lot of snakes, but we can house that many, we can feed that many. But that is not what we produce every year. I mean, we've had years when we produced 600. So, on average, I think it's about 1,400 a year. But we can feed them and take care of them and sell them. There you go. Where's this retic rule book? Where's the guidelines? It just comes down to what people's opinions are. And everybody's opinions are different. You know, just because your opinion differs than mine doesn't mean I have something against you. But boy, in this industry, it sure seems like that. Kind of disappointing. All this social media stuff, all this negativity, I don't understand it. Why? Why do you gotta go on social media and be negative? And there's so much of it. I don't ever. My mom told me, you don't have something good to say about somebody, don't say anything. If you see my comments, I never say anything negative, ever. I just think it's pointless. We live in a big world with a lot of problems. Why create more? You know, let's solve them, help each other. That just comes down to what's going to happen with this legislature. So if they ban them, boy, it's a shame. It really is. You know, I wish people understood that they're only going after snakes because the general population they're not going to disagree with that. They're going to say, sure, get rid of those things. But when they come after your dog, it'll be a different story. So, I don't know. I hope they don't get banned, and I hope we get to see what we can do with these things over the next 10 or 20 years. I do agree with we need to be responsible with them, absolutely. You know, keep ourselves in check. Don't be silly and stupid with them, which, like you said, it only takes a couple people to do something wrong, and that affects the way everybody sees us. So we got to be careful.
Well, I couldn't agree more with the things that Tim was saying. I mean, let's help each other. And I'd like to thank you guys for watching. And if this is your first time, please be sure to subscribe for new episodes every single Sunday. If you want to check me out on Facebook or Instagram, I'd be more than happy to have you. And I'll look forward to hearing from you in the comments. And until next week, you've been watching Triple B TV. Y'all take care.